Five Little Pigs by Agatha Christie. Chapter 1. Hercule Poirot looked with interest and appreciation at the young woman who was being ushered into the room. There had been nothing distinctive in the letter she had written. It had been a mere request for an appointment, with no hint of what lay behind the request. It had been brief and businesslike. Only the firmness of the handwriting had indicated that Carla Lamarchant was a young woman. And now here she was in the flesh, a tall, slender young woman in the early 20s. The kind of young woman that one definitely looked at twice. Her clothes were good, inexpensive, well-cut coat and skirt and luxurious furs. Her head was well poised on her shoulders. She had a square brow, a sensitively cut nose, and a determined chin. She looked very much alive. It was her aliveness more than her beauty that struck the predominant note. Before her entrance, Hercule Poirot had been feeling old. Now he felt rejuvenated, alive, keen. As he came forward to greet her, he was aware of her dark gray eyes studying him attentively. She was very earnest in that scrutiny. She sat down and accepted the cigarette that he offered her. After it was lit, she sat for a minute or two smoking, still looking at him with that earnest, thoughtful scrutiny. Poirot said gently, "Yes, it has to be decided, does it not?" She started. "I beg your pardon?" Her voice was attractive, with a faint, agreeable huskiness in it. "You are making up your mind, are you not? Whether I am a mere mountebank or the man you need?" She smiled. She said, "Well, yes, something of that kind. You see, M. Poirot, you don't look exactly the way I pictured you. And I am old, am I not? Older than you imagined?" "Yes, that too." She hesitated. "I'm being frank. You see, I've got to have the best." "Rest assured," said Hercule Poirot. "I am the best." Carla said, "You are not modest. All the same, I'm inclined to take you at your word." Poirot said placidly, "Well, one does not, employ merely the muscles. I do not need to bend and measure the footprints and pick up the cigarette ends and examine the bent blades of grass. It is enough for me to sit back in my chair and think. It is this." He tapped his egg-shaped head. "This. That functions." "I know," said Carla Lamarchant. "That's why I've come to you. I want you, you see, to do something fantastic." "That," said Hercule Poirot, "promises well." He looked at her in encouragement. Carla Lamarchant drew a deep breath. "My name," she said, "isn't Carla. It's Caroline, the same as my mother's. I was called after her." She paused. "And though I've always gone by the name of Lamarchant, ever since I can remember almost, That isn't my real name. My real name is Krell. Hercule Poirot's forehead creased a moment perplexedly. He murmured, Krell? I seem to remember. She said, my father was a painter, rather a well-known painter. Some people say he was a great painter. I think he was. Amias Krell? Yes. She paused. Then she went on. And my mother, Caroline Krell, was tried for murdering him. Aha, said Poirot. I remember now, but only vaguely. I was abroad at the time. It was a long time ago. 16 years, said the girl. Her face was very white now, and her eyes were two burning lights. Do you understand? She was tried and convicted. She wasn't hanged because they felt that there were extenuating circumstances, so the sentence was commuted to penal servitude for life. But she died only a year after the trial. You see, it's all over, done, finished with, Poirot said quietly. And so? The girl called Carla Lemarchant pressed her hands together. She spoke slowly and haltingly, but with an odd, pointed emphasis. You've got to understand exactly where I come in. I was 5 years old at the time it happened, too young to know anything about it. I remember my mother and my father, of course, and I remember leaving home suddenly, being taken to the country. I remember the pigs and a nice fat farmer's wife, and everybody being very kind. And I remember quite clearly the funny way they used to look at me, everybody, a sort of furtive look. I knew, of course, children do, that there was something wrong, but I didn't know what. And then I went on a ship. It was exciting. I went on for days, and then I was in Canada, and Uncle Simon met me, and I lived in Montreal with him and with Aunt Louise. And when I asked about Mummy and Daddy, they said they'd be coming soon. And then I think I forgot. Only I sort of knew that they were dead without remembering anyone actually telling me so. Because by that time, you see, I didn't think about them anymore. I was very happy, you know. Uncle Simon and Aunt Louise were sweet to me, and I went to school and had a lot of friends, and I'd quite forgotten that I'd ever had another name, not Lemerchant. Aunt Louise, you see, told me that that was my name in Canada, and that seemed quite sensible to me at that time. It was just my Canadian name, but as I say, I forgot in the end I'd ever had any other. She flung up her defiant chin. She said, Look at me, you'd say, wouldn't you, if you met me. There goes a girl who's got nothing to worry about. I'm well off. I've got splendid health. I'm sufficiently good to look at. I can enjoy life. At 20, there wasn't a girl anywhere I'd have changed places with. But already, you know, I'd begun to ask questions. about my own mother and father, who they were and what they did. I'd have been bound to find out in the end. As it was, they told me the truth when I was 21. They had to then, because for one thing, I came into my own money. And then, you see, there was the letter. The letter my mother left for me when she died. Her expression changed, dimmed. Her eyes were no longer two burning points. They were dark, dimples. She said, "That's when I learned the truth, that my mother had been convicted for murder. It was rather horrible." She paused. "There's something else I must tell you. I was engaged to be married. They said we must wait, that we couldn't be married until I was 21. When I knew, I understood why." Poirot stirred and spoke for the first time. He said, "And what was your fiance's reaction?" John? John didn't care. He said it made no difference, not to him. He and I were John and Carla, and the past didn't matter. She leaned forward. "We're still engaged, but all the same, it does matter. It matters to me, and it matters to John too. It isn't the past that matters to us. It's the future." She clenched her hands. "We want children, you see. We both want children, and we don't want to watch our children growing up and be afraid." "Do you not realize," Poirot said, "that among everyone's ancestors there has been violence and evil? You don't understand. That's so, of course. But then, one doesn't usually know about it. We do. It's very near to us. And sometimes I've seen John just look at me, such a quick glance, just a flash. Supposing we were married and we'd quarreled, and I saw him look at me and wonder." Hercule Poirot said, "How was your father killed?" Callard's voice came clear and firm. "He was poisoned." Hercule Poirot said, "I see." There was a silence. Then the girl said in a calm, matter-of-fact voice, "Thank goodness you're sensible. You see that it does matter, and what it involves. You don't try to patch it up and trot out consoling phrases." "I understand very well," said Poirot. "What I do not understand is what you want of me." "I want to marry John," Collard le merchant said simply. "And I mean to marry John, and I want to have at least 2 girls and 2 boys. And you're going to make that possible." "You mean you want me to talk to your fiancé?" "Ah, no, it is idiocy what I say there. It is something quite different that you are suggesting. Tell me what is in your mind." "Listen, M. Poirot, get this, and get it clearly. I'm hiring you to investigate a case of murder." "Do you mean?" "Yes, I do mean. A case of murder is a case of murder, whether it happened yesterday or 16 years ago." "But my dear young lady, wait, M. Poirot, you haven't got it all yet. There's a very important point. Yes, my mother was innocent," said Carla le merchant. Hercule Poirot rubbed his nose. He murmured, "Well, naturally, I comprehend that. It isn't sentiment. There's her letter. She left it for me before she died. It was to be given to me when I was 21. She left it for that one reason, that I should be quite sure that's all that was in it, and that she hadn't done it, that she was innocent, that I could be sure of that always. Hercule Poirot looked thoroughly at the young, vital face staring so earnestly at him. He said slowly, "Tout de même." Carla smiled. "No, Mother wasn't like that. You're thinking that it might be a lie, a sentimental lie." She leaned forward earnestly. "Listen, M. Poirot, there are some things that children know quite well. I can remember my mother, a patchy remembrance, of course, but I remember quite well the sort of person she was. She didn't tell lies, kind lies. If a thing was going to hurt, she always told you so. Dentists or thorns in your finger, all that sort of thing. Truth was a natural impulse to her. I wasn't, I don't think, especially fond of her, but I trusted her. I still trust her. If she said she didn't kill my father, then she didn't kill him. She wasn't the sort of person who'd solemnly write down a lie when she knew she was dying. Slowly, almost reluctantly, Hercule Poirot bowed his head. Carla went on. "That's why it's all right for me to marry John. I know it's all right, but he doesn't. He feels that naturally I would think my mother was innocent. It's going to be cleared up, M. Poirot, and you are going to do it." Hercule Poirot said slowly, "Granted that what you say is true, Mademoiselle, 16 years have gone by." Carla Le Merchant said, "Oh, of course it's going to be difficult. Nobody but you could do it." Hercule Poirot's eyes twinkled slightly. "You give me the best butter, hey?" he said. "I've heard about you," Carla said. "The things you've done, the way you have done them. It's the psychology that interests you, isn't it? Well, that doesn't change with time. The tangible things are gone, the cigarette and the footprints and the bent blades of grass. You can't look for those anymore, but you can go over all the facts of the case and perhaps talk to the people who were there at that time. They're all alive still, and then, as you said just now, you can lie back in your chair and think, and you will know what really happened." Hercule Poirot rose to his feet. One hand caressed his mustache. He said, "Mademoiselle, I am honored. I will justify your faith in me. I will investigate your case of murder. I will search back into the events of 16 years ago, and I will find out the truth." Carla got up. Her eyes were shining, but she only said, "Good." Hercule Poirot shook an eloquent forefinger. "One little moment. I have said I will find out the truth. I do not, you understand, have the bias. I do not accept your assurance of your mother's innocence. If she was guilty, bien, Then what? Carla's head went back. I am her daughter, she said. I want the truth, Hercule Poirot said. Avant, then, though it's not that I should say, on the contrary, an awry.